Hi, it's Ken. Welcome to this week's Spiritual Frequently Asked Questions video. This one comes from Edward Tyler by email. He says, "Hey Ken, you said you'd like a reply, so I thought I would. You might remember me. I was in live calls about 4 years ago when I was 22. I was part of the Spiritual Messenger Mastery series of courses. I still have that whole program from the time and have been wanting to dive into it and do the full program starting from the beginning. From this email, I specifically was curious what your meditation practice is. Your work with transmissions and the long form calls I really enjoyed and would often drop very deep. I was interested to hear how you meditate and how it correlates with the resonance embodiment work for you personally. Thanks. Hope to hear from you soon. Edward." Excuse me. I emailed Edward back, and actually part of the answer here about meditation inspired this series of videos. So I'm excited. When I emailed Edward back, I said, "Hey, do you mind if I use your email for the first video?" And he agreed. So a couple of things that Edward referenced in his email that I'll link in the description below. First of all, the email that I sent out to the community, the regular email that I send out, is called From My Heart, and you can add your name to that if you'd like to receive that in the future by going to my website, kenwstone.com, and then signing up for the newsletter. The Spiritual Messenger Mastery Program is part of the advanced curriculum. The first part of it is Spiritual Mastery. The second part is Spiritual Messenger Mastery. And so I'll link to that as well if you're interested in exploring that. And I'll actually link to the blog post that has the email that he references here. All of that in the description. Here's the answer. What do I do in my meditation practice? So I'm not a formal meditator. I know there are lots of people who are, and I think it's wonderful when people have formal meditation practice. My meditation is regular. It's daily, multiple times a day, but it's not a specific form or expression except one that I have developed or uncovered for myself. And it actually begins when I wake up. The first time I meditate is when I wake up. And as I was reflecting on this question today, as I was getting ready to shoot this video, I realized that music plays a really important role in my meditation. And I'll link, if I can, to the music resources that I'm referencing in my answer here in the description of the video as well. So when I wake up, I'm going to close my eyes because it lets me connect in at a deeper level and give a more complete answer. So when I meditate, when I wake up, I turn on usually several tracks in to the first music link that I'll share with you. And I'm still laying in bed and I turn that music on and I meditate. Depends on what time I wake up, but usually for between 20 and 40 minutes, sometimes longer. And that meditation for me is a process of integrating and opening to the day, I think would be a great way to say it. And that has a huge part in, for me, my experience of resonance. For me, resonance is an experience of my interior connection with the divine, and every part of my day is an expression of that. And so if the resonance starts to fade, or if I wake up in a funky place, that meditation can help me integrate what is coming up for attention or even attend to it. And it also can cue me for the next part of my meditative experience in the day. So I'm out of bed at the latest at 6:30 in the morning, and then I shower and come downstairs here, and my writing studio is right there off screen. And I listen to another piece of music when I write, which will be the second linked piece of music. And when I write, it could be a number of different things, but I realized as I was thinking about this question, Edward, that my writing is a form of meditation for me. And when I'm writing, it can express in a couple of different ways. I might be working on a book, or I might have an idea that I want to explore, or I might have a challenge or something that's coming up internally. And so all of those things might be present, or one or many of those might be present. And so if I'm in a state of deep resonance, which for me is that visceral feeling in my body, I'm feeling it right now. My hands and feet are buzzing. There's a number of other components to that experience for me. And I would describe that as an experience of flow. I know people have different descriptions for that, but that's how I would describe that. And when I'm in that space, I might be called directly into just freeform writing, which I feel like is an experience of transcribing what I'm hearing God say, or around an idea if I've got a question or something that's coming in to explore. So my writing lasts for at least 2 hours every day, 7 days a week. And so usually from 7 to at least 9 in the morning. And then usually by sometimes as early as 10:30, but sometimes at 11 or noon, I will go out and walk. And I usually walk 4 hours in the middle of the, not 4 hours, 4 miles in the middle of the day. And that is another form of meditation for me. It's a walking meditation. And again, there's music for that. I put in little earbuds and keep track of my, the walking details, and then just go into an experience of, I guess I am connecting with nature. That's certainly true. And I also feel like it's another component of that interaction or relationship with the divine. Oftentimes, I receive what I call paper airplanes from God when I'm walking. And I made reference to that at the beginning of this video when I said that this video series was in part inspired by your question, Edward, because as I was walking that day or the next day after I read that and responded to you, in comes this paper airplane. This is what you're going to be doing on your YouTube channel, primarily, as answering questions that get written in. And then there's a meditation walking experience that I do later in the day, which is another mile. And that's sort of the consistent structure, I would say, of my meditation day. Oftentimes, there are additional experiences, encounters, either through my own inner work or something that's coming up in consciousness that requires additional attention. And that attention might take place with the same music that I listen to in the morning when I first wake up. But it's not meditation that I do in bed. It's something usually I do in my writing space, where I also have a stereo so I can listen to music. And that will take me into a very, very deep place. So the music that I reference there is something that really supports my integration. And you asked about embodiment as well. And I want to answer that, but I sort of want to give away a little bit of what's going to happen next. So we had this email exchange, as you know, Edward, but no one else does yet. And in it, I asked, can I do this? And then you followed up with an additional question. And I actually want to answer the additional question in next week's video. So for me, meditation is something that I do when I wake up, when I write, when I walk, and then I also engage in lots of meditation to support additional integration. And that might go on for sometimes hours in the evening, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all. And there's probably a meditative process that I do as I'm going to sleep, but I don't know how to articulate that with words right now. I'm really grateful for the question, Edward. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share the answer here on the channel, on the YouTube channel, and to kick off this frequently asked spiritual questions. You might be wondering, well, this was just a question that Edward asked. And that's true. There are lots of other questions that I've received over time. I think my intention with this theme is to open an opportunity for you to ask questions of me and for us to enter into a dialogue in this way. Certainly in the comments as well, and through the community and the email and so on that's available over on my website, and also here. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with you. Let me know what my answer brings up for you. What comes up for you as you're hearing me share this with you. And I'd love to hear about that in the comments below. I'll be commenting as well and look forward to connecting with you in that way. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer, there's also a link in the description for that to give you a way to ask that question. And of course, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. And of course, there's much more to engage at over on my website, kenwstone.com. Look forward to being back in touch with you again soon. Peace.